This is the Finding Business Happy podcast with me, Janelle McGrath, the founder of Market Veep. This show is all about helping you to live your best life inside and outside of work as a leader in business. Because let's face it, what's important is finding your business happy. Thanks so much today for joining us on the Finding Business Happy podcast. Today we have Fernando Angulo, who is from Semrush, who is the Senior Market Research Manager, an absolute rock star in the SEO space and go-to-market strategy. And so super excited to have you here and share all your insights and knowledge of what you've learned over this 10 plus years of working with Semrush.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here, Janelle.
Awesome. So I know for us, SEO is something that we talk about with clients every single day. And some of the big things that we see a lot of times in terms of trends and patterns are clients come in and they say, hey, I want to write my own content and start having AI generate that. But there's no strategy involved. There's no analysis. They're picking topics, out of the sky. And going and writing these topics. So I'd love to hear your opinion. I know I have lots of opinions about this, but I'd love to hear your ideas around why this might not be the best way to go about creating content strategy.
I believe for each project that starts from the very first step, you need to know what exactly you want from your content and who is the people, who is the audience that you are delivering that content. I will start with the basics, which is the goal. What do you want to create content? What is the purpose of the content? If the purpose is related to a funnel, so you need to go straight to top of the funnel, to the middle of the funnel, or to the bottom of the funnel. Creating content needs to be related, aligned with a strategy and the goal. If it's just for information, it is for just awareness, or it's for closing a deal, you need to be aware about what you want. First, start with the goal. Second one is to know who's the person, who's the persona that you want to be sending that message. It can be a product, it can be a service, it can be just a message that needs to be received by someone. And something that I have learned in this trajectory that I have is that people, when they're doing their searches online, they are expecting something. So you need to create content that is expected to be received by someone. If you are creating content just because of the sake of the content, that doesn't matter. So knowing the goal and knowing the people, doing the persona research, the buyer persona research is the fundamental. And how to do that? Well, basically, you need data. This is the beauty of the internet, is that you have all the data that can work for you. You have data from your competitors, you have data from your own clients, from your own users, and you can use that data to match the needs, even the behavior and the reactions that your users may have.
What do you think in terms of getting that data? I know the trends tool within Semrush is something that is definitely a game changer in terms of the analytics, visibility, getting that data faster, not having to dig through the internet to try to decipher, have a human actually do that legwork. Can you talk a little bit so people understand what the power of that tool can do for a business?
So in that trends, which is a tool inside of Semrush, we gather tons of information about what is happening with different traffic sources. So if you have a website, you have the ability to receive traffic from several channels. Like, let's say, for example, organic channel from Google, right? You can receive web traffic from referrals, from partners, from affiliates, from any domain that is linking, that is creating a backlink to your website. You can receive traffic from social media platforms. You can receive traffic from, let's say, the direct traffic, just from people that already know about you, that people who are reading about you anywhere and I type in directly your website, or you can receive traffic from email campaigns, from paid campaigns. So there are several sources of traffic, and that means that there are different ways to attract people. There are different channels. There is not one single channel, but for different industries, these channels of traffic, these sources of traffic are working differently. Let's say, for example, for the health industry, most of them, they are not doing any paid advertising because, okay, it's a different industry, but they are using mostly referral traffic and organic traffic because they are well known. People they are asking questions about their health issues. People are looking for for different health centers. And for other type of industry, let's say e-commerce, paid advertising is a must because the competition there is really high. Knowing the sources of traffic gives you a really great idea about what's happening in your industry. Let's say maybe you don't need to spend lots of money on paid advertising. Maybe it's better to do email marketing because email marketing is another great channel that is working really great. Actually, the traffic that companies are receiving from email marketing is not growing a lot, but this is a source of traffic that keeps in the same place, is steady. So you can trust this type of traffic because people knows about you, people want to hear about you, and they have already submitted to hear some news from you. And in different cases, in different industries, a different type of traffic works. Having this knowledge from tools like Trends, for example, is giving you another hint about, okay, my industry is going to this way. I should do something related to this and not go to the opposite because they are leaders in the industry. And here I can say that being a brand, being a big company for web marketing, for digital marketing, it's like having a superpower because you have different channels of traffic that can work in a different way. But if you are a small business, you should be having the knowledge about what the leaders of the market, the leaders of the industry are doing, because it happens that in some cases, for seasonality, for example, let's say Amazon Prime Day. Well, we have Prime Day and also we have Black Friday, but it happens to be that in Prime Day, there are a lot of opportunities to follow this Amazon huge campaign as an e-commerce. You can go with your own discounts. You can go with your own offers. But during Black Friday, the competition is even higher, and you don't have that many that many opportunities to be there. In Prime Day, you only have Amazon there as a big machine, but you can just follow, you can align your strategy with their offers, which is working great. In other occasions, let's say the Super Bowl is starting, most of the companies are aware about what is happening online. You have display advertising. It happens that at some point, there's going to be these huge commercials during the Super Bowl, and you will be aware that different millions of people, tons of people are going to be online just watching what is happening with different brands. So being a brand is a superpower, and small brands needs to be following their trends, what they are doing online.
I loved the example around Tesla that I was reviewing, and just seeing that massive spike and then the steady decline once the price dropped, of all of that energy and people looking, and how that could affect another brand in terms of pricing strategy or ideas in terms of what would make somebody say, yeah, let's go ahead and test this. This is a pattern that has worked historically. Just really interesting to see the back end of some of that data.
That's the power of daily data. So if you have the ability to gather data, and you have, I don't know, monthly data that is accumulated or weekly data, we are offering this type of data, let's say daily data, which is giving you really good understanding about what is happening in a certain day with a certain campaign in a location, in a proper location, or it can be globally. So having daily data as your advantage can give you, well, different type of opportunities that if you take it, you can go next with your next campaign and do it really well. Or you will say, oh, I missed this opportunity. I will take the next one. Well, next one may come next year. So you need to be aware of what is. Yes,
right.
Yes, that's true.
You need it right in the moment, which is great. So when we talk about strategy and that data in terms of the trends, I think about SWOT versus pest analysis and the things that people should really consider. And I think sometimes it's hard for people, especially people who are new to SEO and coming in and thinking about strategy. They just want to get traffic and ultimately get leads. They don't care necessarily how the mix they get there. But to your point, it matters in terms of really having that deep analysis of who, why, which buyer persona, because all of that is going to influence the quality of what you're getting. And so can you speak a little bit in terms of your opinion on SWOT versus PEST and like how that actually overlays back into the SEO strategy?
Well, when you have a strategy that is said, let's say SWOT analysis, right? You will see different ways to act. Let's say when you are working in, I don't know, the automotive industry, or let's say in the financial industry, you can receive data that is allocated in terms of what competitors are doing and see what their well, in SWOT analysis, let's say what are their strong positions, what are their weak positions, and you can see, you can do the comparison, the benchmarking. This is the beauty of of SWOT analysis, right? You can compare, you can do the benchmark, and you can have the point of differentiation from both companies. In terms of digital, you can do that for an entire industry. So what is happening with different sources of traffic for the automotive industry in terms of affiliate marketing? So if you have, I don't know, if you are a brand, let's say Toyota or Tesla, you want to know, you want to learn about how different resellers are doing in the market, how they are working in order to provide more services to them, and so on. So those are going to be their strengths. But if they are doing really bad at SEO, well, you will provide better content, you will provide differentiator in terms of different strategies to sell a certain product for them. You will align your strategy just having information about what is happening with your resellers. If we are in the financial industry, well, this is a completely different case, because here, in order to promote, in order to have more leads, more financial leads, you need to be aware about what is happening in the on the market, not only with financial institutions, but also globally with the media outlets. You need to see what is happening in the financial sector, but with a different perspective. So you need to check the New York Times, you need to check the Guardian, because those news are affecting globally, let's say the stock market, right? So having the understanding and measuring what are the weaknesses or what are the strengths of one market to another, that's something that gives you the advantage. And in another instance, you need to check the threats. What are the threats of a certain industry? What are the threats of, let's say, if we put this on a graph of market, on a graph of competitors, we can see who are the leaders of the market, who are the new game changers, who are the companies that are entering, and how fast they are entering. When you have this information, well, basically you can react. All this information is basically helping you to react to these changes or to plan for the future. You can do the forecast. Okay, we need to invest more in SEO. Let's create more content for this stage or other stage of the funnel. But if you are not doing it, if you don't have the knowledge about what are the threats in the industry, let's say, for example, right now we have a different type of results. Basically, that is what is happening in the US with the overview AI. Now you have overview AI. We used to have the feature snippets. We're still there, but the overview AI is populating more the results of the first page of Google, which is a massive change. They are changing it still. It's not finalized. Most of SEOs, we don't like it.
Oh, so it's never finalized, right? So like a moving target all the time. You got it, and then they change it.
It's always like this. Now we have these other results. I was reading this morning. These are like the people also ask results, but they have created using AI as recommendations on products created by AI, which sounds really great, but it's not working properly still. So you need to adapt to this kind of threats because you have all the content. And when I mean content, right, I need to say that content has a structure. You need to have lists on your content. You need to have paragraph, we're not with a certain amount of words, but paragraph that are really easy to read. And you need to have as well, you need to have tables if you are proposing any kind of information with absolute numbers, for example. Here, I will say that if you use this SWOT analysis, you can use perfectly, you can combine perfectly what is happening in with your online presence, which is the best way to do it. It's maybe it's not the easiest way, but well, you're positioning yourself with all the options that are in your market. But if we go to pest analysis, here the situation changes a little bit. In this case, we will be taking more factors. Let's say we will say political factors. What is happening with the economy? What is happening in terms of social factors? You are taking into account other factors that are really good. And in terms of web traffic overall, here we can say, okay, cybersecurity is a really good factor. We can say that, well, trade is also a good factor. If we're talking about influencer marketing, also, when you are about to do a promo campaign, you need to be aware about who is the person who is doing the promo for you, who is the influencer, what is their situation in terms of interest, in what is their situation in terms of innovation. Well, all the rest of factors that can affect your plans and your campaign will be taken notice in the best analysis. So having the SWOT analysis, I will definitely use for starting the project. To continue with the project, with any project that for creating better content, I will definitely follow with the pest analysis, which is more deep in terms of the differential factors.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think pest, much more granular, SWOT, high level, big picture ideas. I think about COVID, right? Like I think about marketing during COVID, looking at the global impact and trying to pick those trends and patterns in the data to try to make those market shifts. But both are very impactful, both very useful, just different benefits.
I will add that when you're doing your pest analysis, I will add more information about the user, what affects directly the users in terms of income, in terms of their geolocation, also their behavior in terms of how likely they are to buy from brands or from marketplaces. This is even better. How likely they are to consume content from social media platforms, short-term videos, long videos. In this case, all the information that you can add as a factor for your user will help you a lot. And this is a really great strategy that we internally are using for certain products that we are about to launch, to publish. We are creating the picture of the persona using the information that we have from a tool that we call One to Target, which gives you all the information around your buyer persona and the buyer persona that your competitors is already using. And we just take all the data, we are putting it into AI image generator, and you can create using all the data with the AI image generator tool, DaVinci, for example, DaVinci AI, and you can create the image of the person, of your user. This is an amazing tool to understand. Okay, you can put the picture of your ideal user there using the data and the data related to your competitors and an AI generated tool.
Incredible. I mean, you travel globally to speak about SEO. And so as we talk about kind of these 10,000-foot analyses of like different parts of the world and how they perceive these strategies, what are some of the things that you've kind of heard and get questions on all the time that you think are like the next big things that people should be considering in their process?
This is a really interesting question because SEO in different parts of the world is slightly different in terms of how people perceive the content and how they are willing to consume the content that companies, that different entities are creating. Let's take, for example, last week I was in the Netherlands. And well, basically in the Netherlands, they really like to read. They really like to learn the information. It's very close to Germany, right? And in Germany, I met the only type of people, I would say, Germans. They want to learn everything about SEO. So they are the only ones that I know, SEOs, I mean, that have read the patents on Google algorithms. So you have all the terms and conditions of Google, which is great. You have the Google Webmasters website, the help part, but the patterns of the Google algorithms, that's next level.
Different part of the brain,
That's
right?
that's another thing. Yes, so they're really good into what they're doing. For other countries, just having a little bit of information, let's say it Australia, right, or let's say South Africa or India, just having mind or their attention for a couple of seconds with the title. So title in SEO is really important. Actually, we're mentioning in our ranking factors report that title is a really crucial part of the content, and having different titles for different web pages for different types of content related to one topic is a good decision, because you only have like 3 seconds, 2 seconds and a half to attract with the title to one visitor, to one user that is entering to your webpage. If the title is related to what they're expecting, they're going to be following with their next of the content. If the title is not what they were looking, they will be frustrated and they will click and they will move to the next page. So the title, moment of expectation of what's this content about, the type of people that lives in a certain country, that makes a really interesting difference. But in overall the SEO world in all countries, I believe there are two really good factors that everybody needs to be aware. Is the content, the quality of the content. When I mean quality of the content, I mean that the content that you are creating needs to be useful. With quality, I will compare it with the value. So if the content quality equals value, so if the content that you create generates value to the user, some kind of value, that's the content that people are expecting. And the second factor is always related to backlinks. Still, I'm a backlink lover. If the content is going to be mentioned and added to as a link, mentioning another website, it's also going to be bringing value to that website and to your own website. No matter if it's follow or no follow, better if it's follow, but you need to have that link building strategy. But you need to have links as well there. They are really good for your rankings.
I love it. It's so true. I think when I think about the part where we're talking about kind of the types of content, the titles, and the importance of the titles, and you said it earlier too, top, middle, bottom of the funnel. I think it's one of the biggest things that people miss on when they write content without a strategy. It ends up being, from what we've seen, very top of funnel, and there's nothing that moves them through. And so when their end goal is leads, but they're only serving up top of funnel content where they're really just educating still, it's really hard from what we've seen to move people into that closed deal stage. What things have you seen or heard in terms of strategies around people being able to use the tool and leverage top, middle, bottom of the funnel? Or what are your favorite features?
Something interesting that I have not noticed is that the majority of the companies are creating content just for the top of the funnel, which is great because it generates a lot of interest, a lot of attraction about a certain product, about a certain service, right? But creating tons of content related to only to attract for brand awareness, it's always a good idea to have. But taking into account that at least 50% of that content needs to be divided into the middle of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. And to create those pieces of content, it's not about just text, right? It's about video, it's about audio. So you can create several types of content in terms of, okay, you have the top of the funnel, you are creating just for a massive audience, a blog post about whatever the industry it is. The second one is something more relevant to how to use a tutorial or what is this product, how this product, this service can help you. And the last one is straight to the point. This is the price. These are the next steps that you need to follow in order to acquire this product or these services. Most of the companies are really bad at creating content for the bottom of the funnel. And how to solve this problem? Well, when you're going, for example, to tools like Semrush, you need to check the keywords that are related to the behavior of the user. We have tons of transactional keywords. There we have informative keywords, and we have also transactional keywords that are helping different type of companies to go straight to the point for closing the deal. And here you need to check, okay, what is how my favorite companies is Amazon, how they're closing the deal. And their landing pages, they have the proposal there. They have their card there. They are just pointing you, okay, this is the discount that you will receive. So those strategies that are not directly related to SEO, this is more CRO. The strategies are more related to that. But still, you are bringing people to one page, and that page needs to be in a proper situation with CRO, which is the next strategy for SEO, I will say. So these companies need to be creating content for the bottom of the bottom of the funnel. How you can do that? Check all your transactional keywords. Actually, you can do the content audit and check how many keywords you have for the informational part, how many keywords you have for the middle of the funnel, how many you have for transactionals, and just giving more leverage to the transactional part if you already have created the right amount for the top of the funnel. What is the right amount? I will say 50% of the content that you are created, at least, is that what we have. 47%, 50% of the content that you have needs to be for awareness. Then you need to have at least 25% for informative purposes, and at least 20% for the transactional part, which is really difficult for most of the companies. But if you take a look what Amazon is doing for their own pages, well, that will be, you need to take a look what your competitors are doing and what the leaders of the market are doing, because they are working with SEOs, with CROs to improve their conversion rates and to improve how the content that they are creating for the transactional part is working for them.
You have a good point too, to look at other market leaders. I think sometimes when people come in, they will say things which I'm sure you've heard, like, there's nobody in the market like our company. We're the only one. I can't compare to any other competitor. Or here's one competitor, but this competitor isn't really similar to me. But I agree with you. To your point, there's always somebody, even if it's how can I look at this person who's really hitting their targets in a completely different genre, industry, market, and take the learnings from that and apply that to the business model. I think when we think of competitors, a lot of times it's only your own company size, company specific persona. It's so much broader than that in terms of what we can take away and learn from the data that we have access to. Do you feel like in terms of AI, when we're talking about globally, how is that viewed in terms of SEO, whether that's AI for content generation, AI tools for assessment? What does that picture look like?
Well, AI is everywhere. Actually, I am really happy to have the access to use an AI tool in 2024. Actually, everybody has access right now to an AI tool. In terms of SEO, well, AI is polluting the results of Google as well, and other search engines. Bing is there, even Yahoo is using AI. All the digital environment, actually, in most of the industries, AI is really present. Now, here's the situation. We have researched the state of AI in terms of usage. We have learned that most of the people, let's say in the US, this is a US-based research, that they are using AI during weekdays and during working hours. The presence of AI platforms is basically from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. So office hours, office working hours. The usage of these platforms during weekends is definitely lower as 10% as it is during weekdays. So this is definitely a tool that people that are working remotely or in their offices are using. But it's not the tool that they are using for weekends, for non-related working hours. They are still searching. So search is still really important. And in terms of global traffic, in terms of Google traffic, the difference or the impact that AI platforms are taking is really, really low. It's no more than 0.1%, which in terms of numbers is a really big amount of people, but in overall terms, it's not that big. Well, people are still searching. People are still asking different questions as they were doing, but something interesting has happened. The websites that were meant to answer people's questions, let's say, for example, Quora, they have been impacted more than Google. People are doing more these long-term keyword questions to AI platforms than these other platforms like Quora, for example, or ask.com. These platforms are losing 20%, 30%, in some cases 40% of their total traffic, which is a huge amount of traffic. Most of the people were expecting that, okay, Google is losing a huge amount of traffic because AI platforms. Well, that's not the case yet. Maybe that will be in the next year, next couple of months. Who knows? But right now, the platforms that were more affected to this are these answer and question platforms like Quora and Ask. And this is an interesting situation because when you are searching for something, you have an intention, right? Navigational, informative, transactional. But when you want to work, when you want to rewrite, this is the first case that people are using AI platforms, right? The first situation is rewrite a text or create topic based on an idea, or check an email and make it better, or create a post based on an idea. You are not looking for that. You're not searching for that on Google. You are searching for different stuff. So it is a tool for now. It's being used as a tool for now, and it's helping you to create, to be more active, to be better in if we can say like that in the content that you're creating.
Great point. In terms of when we think about like the biggest success stories and the case studies and those kinds of avenues that you have seen success by using a tool like this and getting that data, do you have any that come to top of mind that you're like, that was incredible what they were able to do?
Oh, yes, definitely. I have this case. I don't remember the company. I can check it later. But when you have access to traffic data, right, you will have the knowledge about different points of access from users in terms of location, in terms of languages, in terms of interest. But there is this company. I was in an event in New York a couple of weeks ago, and it was this company that they were doing translations online from enterprise websites, and they were using this data. I was really shocked about this process. So they have the data from several different websites that are coming from sources like say from countries like, for example, they have a website in the US, and they are not only receiving traffic visitors from the US, but they are receiving 30% of the traffic is coming from Japan, 10% is coming from Germany. And they're writing letters to this company and say, hey, you are receiving 30% of the traffic for your website from Japan, and your webpage is not in Japanese. Let me try to help you. We can translate your webpage. Yes, it's a very easy example, right? It's a very interesting situation that I was not thinking about that, but these guys are doing a really great job. They are pitching to their clients with the sources of traffic that they are receiving from our tools, and say, hey, your webpage is receiving traffic from, well, let's say, from France, and your page is not in French. This is the first case that is huge one, and they're making millions of dollars just using this technique. But there are other type of uses. I really love this one because this is a really powerful one. So we have clients from La Liga. This is a sport club here in Spain that actually is in Latin America, is here in Europe. They have their rights. Actually, they are the producers of matches that are going online between, let's say, Real Madrid or Barcelona, which are huge popular teams. And they are using this data that we are providing because we have several data points. For example, certain URLs, all the content that is inside. And using their own algorithm, they can track any URL globally that are transmitting illegally pirate broadcast from a certain match in a certain location. So they are just, okay, we can see here 100,000 illegal pirate websites that are transmitting legally these matches online. The online streaming platforms they are closing them. They are reporting them to Google, and Google is closing them. So they are saving also millions of dollars from these pirate translations, right? So they are using that, but they are not the only ones who are using this. Also, companies like, for example, like ESPN is using this similar strategy to do the same thing. And these are also some strategies that other companies are using, for example, to check if their products, let's say Lego, are being duplicated, or they have pirate products on different markets, on different marketplaces around the globe. So checking the piracy, cutting pirate translations, streaming translations is another kind of usage for this type of data.
That's a great example. Totally something different. Not what I was expecting you to say. Something I think most people wouldn't be like, oh, let's use the tool for that. So that's incredible. What do you think are some of like the biggest mistakes, or like top one or two things that like everybody who is new to SEO, or even have been doing it for a little while, but maybe not seeing traction, that are the most common things that you see people making mistakes on when they're building their SEO?
Yes, I really like this question because recently I took an example of a website that is creating reviews for products. Right now, this site belongs to the New York Times. They are creating these reports, these overviews about different products. Let's say iPhones, Samsung mobile devices, or whatever the product it is. And the thing is that this website is called Wirecutter. It's owned by the New York Times, and you can think, okay, New York Times is a media outlet, but they are also reviewing products, just because product reviews are a big part of the informational type of content. So that's the bottom, that's the middle of the funnel. When you are looking, let's say, for wearable device or for the next television that you want to buy, you are just looking for information about what are the best products, what are the most affordable prices, what are the best stores, whatever. So the New York Times, they bought this website, which is the Wirecutter, and they are doing something incredible, which is create a piece of content for evergreen purposes. What this means? So the content is really good in terms of description, in terms of length, and in terms of value. So it really gives you the value. It gives you the details. It gives you the ranking, because they say they are authority on this overview, and they're giving you all the different specs about this product. So everything that you need is there. But every single month or every 3 months, they are repurposing this content. So they're adding something new, or they're changing something new, because the iPhone 6 is nothing compared to the iPhone 15 that we have right now. But they are still receiving traffic for the iPhone 6 because there are a certain population that are still using the iPhone 6 somehow. So just creating content as an onion. I love to create content onion because they are creating layer over layer over layer of content. Actually, they write their updates every single month or every 2 months for every piece of content that they have. And the wonderful part here is that every single piece of content that they are publishing every single day, they are publishing like 10, 20, or in some cases 100 new product overviews. They are ranked in the top 3 positions of Google. Being with every single piece of content that you're creating and being in the top 3 is, of course, I was telling you at the beginning, being a brand is a superpower, right? So being the New York Times is already it's on the next level. But having a focus on product overviews and creating the onion strategy with content layer and overlayer and overlayer, updating the content that is already working for different changes, right? I was mentioning the iPhone 6 because I was reviewing that, okay, Apple is not supporting anymore our iPhone 6, but there are other companies, there are another providers that are helping you with changing the battery or whatever. The content is there and being useful for the users that's the quality of the content. Quality equals value. And these guys are doing a great job while they're producing content.
Awesome example. I think a lot of people create content and then never look at it ever again until it ends up in a report. And they're like, hey, look, that piece of content is ranking, but they never actually go back. And to your point, do regular updates. HubSpot also had a great piece of content talking about how they did the very similar strategy to their blog and going back through their best performing and creating those updates. So I think a lot of times people focus so much on just generating volume and net new, not necessarily assessing and tweaking the data of what they already have that is working. So great example. I saw one of your posts on LinkedIn about entrepreneurship and the importance and how entrepreneurs have a special kind of grit. I'd love to hear your philosophy on why you think that and what kinds of things that maybe have led you to that decision.
Well, being an entrepreneur is it's a different path. I started working for Semrush for about 13 years. So 13 years ago, the company is 15 years, but we were a proper startup, and we were taking decisions in a very small, reduced group. We were 20 people working in 2 or 3 offices that were really, really small. When you are small, when you're starting something, you have so many doubts, you have so many risks around you, because one day you can be in a good mood. Well, the industry can be in a good mood and accept the offers that you have for them. And the other day, well, the industry is changing and you can close, definitely, right? So in this case, when you are small enough to be flexible, well, you need to take advantage on that situation. For a small business, for entrepreneurs, basically, you can work building your brand awareness, but it's really unpredictable. I believe it's more related to the mindset, to the right mindset, how you can be clear with the ideas that you have and go for the goal that you're establishing. I remember that we're still an agile company, but we were applying Scrum strategies, not only for the development teams, but also introduced the Scrum for the marketing team and also for the customer experience team. And that means that you need to have your daily stand-ups. You are working in weeks or in a bi-weekly mode. You need to have your own goals for a short period of time. Well, this is about responsibility for the things that you are doing. And well, the mindset that you have at that time needs to survive the growth. So I remember when we were 20 people, easy. We go lunch together. We can have a couple of pizzas. Well, 3 pizzas, I will say. But we're around 200 people in the company. That's already more challenging.
A lot of
but
pizzas.
A lot of pizzas, right? But right now that we are about 2,000 people, so okay, pizzas are not enough. We need to go for another stick. But the mindset, mindset needs to survive. That's something that I believe it's called culture right now. The mindset that you have and that you try to keep for the sake of being more productive, for having the same passion as the beginning. Of course, something that I really love about working for a company like Semrush that is still here over the years is the passion of talking about the company that you are really proud of. There are tons of companies, there are tons of brands, like, for example, let's say IBM. I met a lot of people from Microsoft that, well, people are working there for 13 years, for 15 years. And when I met with them, I say, okay, I'm also working for Semrush like for 12 years or for 13 years. And how was it? Well, from the beginning, it was fantastic. And the passion is still there. From the earliest employees from other companies as well, we have this, with this connection that, well, we were thriving at the beginning, but the success and the failure is your responsibility to face them with the mindset of the company that you are supporting and that you are building.
That's great. I think to your point, the culture piece, right? That makes all the difference. And once you reach success in whatever that goal is, right? Success can be such a big range depending on what the organization is trying to do. But I think that there is like almost like a relaxed part after that goal has been achieved sometimes, where people get laxed in, okay, like we can take the foot off the gas, or we don't need to focus on as many ideas, or we don't have to be as competitive. And I think it's something that happens over trickle sometimes for some organizations. But I think, to your point, having such a focus and not losing sight of how important a culture is and making such an effort to maintain whatever that culture style is. One final question. What does finding business happy mean to you?
Finding business happy. Well, this is a great question, because when you are in a certain industry, let's say this digital industry, right? So you need to find your place and not your zone of comfort, because it's always about experiments, success and failure. The moment when you can achieve that is when you are more busy. So I will say the toughest moment that I had, let's put it in a personal level, was when the company was doing really great, but I was so busy that I didn't notice that. I remember someone was telling me from the industry that they are waiting for more clients. They're expecting for more clients, and they are just expecting for them. They're creating their strategies. Well, at some point, I was not waiting for more clients. I was waiting to, okay, I have so many tasks. I have so many things to do. There is something more. No more clients, please. No more clients. So that's the moment precise that I say, okay, this is the happiest moment, because I have a problem, but it's a good problem. It's a problem that companies, they will love to have. A
The
problem with,
dream, right?
yes, that's correct. And that's the moment that when you realize, okay, I have a really good problem here.
Yes.
Cool. Let's keep it like this.
It's like the flip of I have to do something versus when you frame it as I get to do something, the same kind of mentality of, oh my gosh, this is so rewarding. We're like, this is so incredible. Look at how hard we've worked and look at what this has built. Like, how rewarding is that?
Yes, you're right.
Well, thank you so much for your time. All these awesome ideas. I'm going to make sure to drop all the resources too for listeners on the trends, all the reports, a bunch of cool case studies, a free trial. Make sure that people have access to connect with you on LinkedIn as well. Any other final words that you'd like to share on the tool or yourself?
Well, actually, I wanted to share a really interesting part, which was related to the content part. And we have talked a lot about content quality, right? About backlinks. But actually, the main differentiator for every piece of content is the relevance, the text relevance. Just following first words on the content expectation that users have, the relevance of the content matching expectations with needs is something that definitely every company needs to be aware of. So text relevance by far is the most important factor, is the most important content factor for positioning your website. And having this text relevance in a good shape, well, first of all, is having the knowledge about your audience and having the knowledge about the value that you're providing to them. Yes, I repeated the word value because for me it means quality, right? But the relevance and the quality of the content, they need to match, and relevance of content is here. That means that you are following the EAT criteria from Google. which is great. But still, you are the best user of your own content. You're the best consumer of your own products. I remember 3 or 4 years ago, I was in India in an e-commerce event with 2,000 well, they were business owners from e-commerce in India. E-commerce in India it's massive. It's totally different. When I was checking just one website, I say, "Oh, what is the traffic that you have?" I open, 50 million people on your e-commerce. It's huge, right?
Just a couple. 50
Yes,
million.
yes, it's crazy. But I was asking this question to all the audience. I remember it was like 2,000 people in the room. I was asking, how many of you are buying stuff from your own website? And I just saw like a couple of hands like this.
Was it Jeff
from
Bezos in the back?
2000. Hopefully, but no. And they were not consuming their own product, so they don't know the pain points of the users that are consuming from their own stores. Making the point, right? You need to be the best user that you have, but you will not be the best user because you are the creator, right? But you need to know about the journey that your users are having. I have this criteria, this KPI, which is the frustration KPI. How frustrated you are from clicking a button that is not working, or from finding the same type of content that you have on your desktop in your mobile devices. So for each frustration that you have, you can create the list of frustration from your buyer's journey. So you have the frustration list and you have your relevance list. So just match that and you will be in a good shape.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's great advice. And I'll make sure that we share all of that with everyone as well so they can take a peek. Well, thank you everyone for listening in today. Thank you so much, Fernando, for joining.
Thank you.
And until next time, thanks for listening to Finding Business Happy. Thank you for listening to Finding Business Happy with me, Janelle McGrath, the founder of Market Veep. If you want a roadmap to finding and keeping your business happy, download our free guide now at marketveep.com/happy.